God, he wants you to have an experience with him. At some point in your walk with God, knowledge, he gives you knowledge. When you seek him, he gives you knowledge. He gives you his truth. He reveals things to you. But at some point, he wants you to graduate from head knowledge to an experience with him. God wants you to literally experience him. And experiencing him is having a relationship with him. He cares about relationship. He cares about intimacy. He cares about communion with him. And I have had an experience with God, a very amazing, beautiful experiences with him in my 7 years of walking with him and getting to know him. And what that looks like is no different than a spouse, a relationship with him looks just like, someone that you're courting, if you want to say. You get to know them, And so what happens when you're getting to know someone? Because we ain't talking about that boyfriend, girlfriend thing, because that's not in the Bible, okay? It's about a real covenant with God, a marriage with him, But what does that look like? You get to know them. You get to know their good and their bad. Now with God, all things are good, but in our life, not everything's going to be good. There's going to be bad that happens. There's going to be things that God allows in our to happen to us in our life that are bad, only so he can show you the good of him, why he is so good, why he is a repairer, restorer. And so he wants, through that comes experiencing him. Through those bad times and him allowing, because for you to experience him and truly know him, and to know his character and who he is, he can't give you rainbows and the good stuff all the time. He can't give you that to truly experience him. He is going to allow rocky times and bad things to happen to you, but he's going to bring you through it. And that's always going to show you how good he is, even when we don't understand it. Even, I don't ever curse God, but some people go as far as, they get angry with him and they take it out on him because they just don't understand, But then when that understanding comes, you're like, man, I get it, God. I see now. You're so good. Like, wow. And then how it grows you, And so God, he wants you to experience him at some point in your walk with him. But in order to do that, you got to give up your will for his will. You have to learn how to let things go, You have to truly be devoted to him and spend time with him and seek him, through his word, through prayer, and allow him to work in your life to give you that experience. And you're going to see the good and the bad. Like in my experience, okay, he allowed a terrible thing to happen to me, like my car accident. That has taken me, on a healing side, almost 4 years to recover from. In an overall side, 7 years. I'm still recovering, I'm just in the stage of building my strength back. And it takes time with the type of injuries that I have had. And he's also allowing me to experience him in a way that keeps me humble through that. He's still teaching me things through it. But that was a bad thing. That was a terrible thing. It sucked. I don't wish that. If I had a worse enemy, I wouldn't wish it upon someone. And so that was the bad part of it. But the good that came from it, the experience of, choosing and allowing God to work in my life, giving my life to God, getting born again and everything like that. When I got baptized, God healed my body. He healed my body from those injuries. I don't have the aches and pains still to this day that I felt back then. The tightness in my shoulders, just everything. I never had to have surgery. Most people will have to have surgery, especially like a neck surgery or, something in their back at some point with the injuries that I had. I never had surgery. It was pretty much a miracle, to walk away from that and not have surgery a couple years down the line, That's the good part of seeing that from God, that. And I didn't know he was going to do that. I just knew I needed to give my life to him. And within that, he healed my body. He made sure I got directed to the right people that laid hands on me and called things out. And it healed my body. He healed me through those people. He allowed me to still live from that, He allowed me to have my legs, because I don't know, I couldn't do the without the legs part. I think he knows, like how he says, how much we can handle. I couldn't handle that, being paralyzed. But some people have that same thing happen to them and they're paralyzed. And so I got to experience that with God. I got to experience just him delivering me off of weed and just a bunch of other sinful things. Still to this day, I'm not perfect. I'm still getting, better, but he wants you to experience him at some point, but you have to allow him to do a work in you, which means you're going to have to give up a lot of things that you like. You're going to have to give up your life for his life, your will for his will. But it's so beautiful. Like, it was a sucky thing, it hurt me financially when that stuff happened. But I truly believe 2024 is my prosperity year, because he's been restoring over the years. But I feel financially like he's been increasing my finances every year. He's been taking care of me. When I had my apartment, I was by myself, I was able to pay my bills by myself, and I have roommates. And now we're traveling across the country, and I'm about to start a next season with him to go deeper into my relationship. And I know what season I'm in. I know what things I have to work on and what I have to give up. But I know I'm going to be able to experience him on another deeper level, because it's levels with God, I get to go in a more deeper intimacy with him. And so it's about relationship with God, and he wants you to get to know him. He knows you, and he wants, to get to know you in certain ways, but it's really, he wants you to get to know him. He wants you to experience him. And a lot of people don't get to experience him because they don't want to give up their life. They don't want to give up their will. They want to be the pilot and co-pilot of their life. They don't want to just be the backseater and let God just take the wheel, So experience God. Get to that point where you experience God, but you don't have to sacrifice. You are going to have to sacrifice, There is a sacrifice that comes with being saved. There is. They try to make it seem like there's not. It's a false doctrine. There is a sacrifice. And it's a beautiful one, because the reward in the end is you get to be with him forever. You get to be in heaven. You don't get to be in a eternity of hell. So it's benefits with it. It's gifts. There's benefits even while we're down here. That's the ultimate benefit, is to be up there. Because I'm tired of being down here. Honestly, I'm ready to go. But at the same time, I'm like, Lord, I want to make sure I'm ready. Don't take me up out of here if I'm not ready yet. Don't do that. I ain't trying to go to hell. I ain't trying to deal with this little bit of hell that we go through on earth, just to actually go to an eternal darkness and hell and just real torture, because that's nothing like what we deal with up here, But when you become saved and born again, you get tired of it up here. You make the most of it. You find the beauty. God even helps you with that. But you be ready to go. Like, I'm tired. But this is just the start of me being tired. I've been through some stuff, but I ain't really been through nothing, I would say, in my opinion. I've been through a lot. I have, but this is calm before it's storm type stuff, He's training me for the real battle that's to come. So get to know him. Have an experience with God. But just know it comes with a sacrifice.